All rise. JustProfessor here. Someone tells you what happened at an event you both attended. Their version is different from yours. But after hearing their story, your memory changes to match theirs. You now remember things that never happened. Your brain just rewrote your past based on someone else's words, and you have no idea it happened. Think about a memory from your childhood that you tell as a story. Maybe something funny or embarrassing that happened. Now ask yourself, do you actually remember the event, or do you remember the story you've been told about it? Can you separate your original memory from what your parents or siblings have said about it over the years? Most people can't, because every time you hear information about a memory, your brain incorporates that information into the memory itself. This is the misinformation effect, and it means most of your memories contain details that never actually happened. The misinformation effect is when exposure to incorrect information after an event changes your memory of that event. Someone tells you something happened differently than you remember, and your brain starts to doubt and then changes your original memory. You watch a video, then someone describes what was in the video incorrectly, and your memory shifts to include their false details. You experience something, then read a misleading news report about it, and your memory conforms to the report rather than your actual experience. This happens because memory is not like a video recording that stays the same. Every time you remember something, you're reconstructing it. And during that reconstruction, your brain pulls in information from various sources. Your original experience, things people told you, things you read, things you assumed. It mixes all these sources together into one memory, and you can't tell which parts came from the original experience and which parts came from later information. The problem is, this makes your memories unreliable without you realizing it. You're confident you remember what happened, but part of what you remember was actually planted there by misinformation you encountered after the fact. And because you can't distinguish between original memory and incorporated misinformation, you defend your false memories as if they're definitely true. Let me show you how this works. The classic research on this is from Elizabeth Loftus. She showed people videos of car accidents, then asked questions about what they saw. Some people were asked, how fast were the cars going when they hit each other? Others were asked, how fast were they going when they smashed into each other? The word, smashed, is misinformation. It suggests more violence than might have been in the video. A week later, people were asked if they saw broken glass in the video. There was no broken glass, but people who heard the word smashed were much more likely to falsely remember seeing broken glass. The single word in the question created a false memory. Their brain incorporated the implication from smashed into their memory of the video, and now they genuinely remembered something that never happened. This has huge implications for eyewitness testimony. Witnesses to crimes are questioned by police, by lawyers, by other witnesses. Each conversation contains potential misinformation that can alter their memories. Leading questions, suggestions, incorrect details from others. All of this gets incorporated into their memory. By the time they testify in court, what they remember is a mix of what they saw and what they heard afterward, but they can't tell the difference. News coverage creates misinformation effects constantly. Something happens, you experience it or see it directly. Then you watch news reports about it. The news includes errors or emphasizes certain details or presents a particular angle. Your memory shifts to incorporate what the news said. Now, when you remember the event, you're remembering the news coverage more than your original experience. Social media makes this dramatically worse. Something happens and you see it. Then you see 20 different people's accounts and interpretations on social media. Incorrect details, assumptions presented as facts, misunderstandings that get repeated. All of this becomes part of your memory. Your brain can't keep straight which details came from your original observation and which came from social media posts you saw later. Family stories are full of misinformation effects. Something happens when you're young. Your parents talk about it. Your siblings add their versions. The story gets told at family gatherings. Each telling includes slightly different details, emphasis, interpretations. By adulthood, your memory of the event is a blend of your original experience and decades of retellings. You probably remember things that other people said happened rather than what you actually experienced. Relationship conflicts get poisoned by this. You have a fight with someone. Later, you talk to a friend about it. Your friend asks leading questions or offers their interpretation. Those external inputs become part of your memory of the fight. You now remember things that fit your friend's narrative rather than what actually happened. This makes reconciliation harder because you're both defending memories that have been contaminated by misinformation from various sources. Marketing and advertising use this deliberately. You try a product. Later, you see ads for it that describe an amazing experience. Those ad descriptions become part of your memory of using the product. You now remember it being better than it was because the advertising misinformation got incorporated into your memory. Therapy and recovered memories are particularly vulnerable to misinformation effects. When therapists ask leading questions or suggest interpretations, they risk creating false memories in their patients. People can come to genuinely remember traumatic events that never happened because the suggestions from therapy sessions became incorporated into their memory as if they were real experiences. Conspiracy theories spread through misinformation effects. You see an event. Then you encounter conspiracy theories about it. The theories contain false details and implications. Your memory incorporates these details. Now, when you remember the event, you remember it in ways that support the conspiracy theory. You think your memory is evidence for the conspiracy when actually the conspiracy theory just contaminated your memory. Historical events get this treatment on a massive scale. You weren't alive for something, so your entire memory comes from what you've been told, read, seen in movies and documentaries. All of those sources contain misinformation and bias. Your sense of what happened in history is completely constructed from information that may not be accurate, but you think of it as knowledge. So how do you protect your memories from misinformation? How do you know what you actually remember versus what you've been told? First, write down memories immediately. The sooner you record something after it happens, the less chance misinformation has to corrupt it. If something important happens that you might need to remember accurately, write down your account before discussing it with others or reading about it. Second, be skeptical of confident memories. Confidence and accuracy are not correlated for memories. You can be absolutely certain you remember something correctly and be completely wrong. The misinformation effect creates false memories that feel just as real as true memories. Don't trust a memory just because you feel sure about it. Third, be aware of the sources. When you remember something, try to identify where different parts of the memory came from. Did you experience this directly? Did someone tell you about it? Did you read it somewhere? Being conscious of sources helps you recognize when misinformation might have intruded. Fourth, avoid discussing important memories before you need to recall them accurately. Every discussion is an opportunity for misinformation to enter your memory. If you're going to testify about something or need accurate recall for some reason, minimize how much you talk about it with others beforehand. Fifth, question leading questions. When someone asks you about a memory using language that implies certain things, recognize that's potential misinformation. Resist the leading language and stick to what you actually remember without letting their question shape your recall. Sixth, remember that memory is reconstructive. You're not playing back a recording. You're rebuilding the memory each time, and each rebuild can incorporate new information. Understanding this makes you more cautious about trusting your memories completely. Seventh, look for corroboration. If a memory is important, see if there's independent evidence. Photos, videos, written records, multiple witnesses who haven't discussed the event with each other. Don't rely on a single person's memory, including your own. The misinformation effect means your memories are way less reliable than you think. Every time you hear information about something you experienced, your brain risks incorporating that information into your memory of the event. False details get mixed in with real memories. Suggestions become memories. Implications become facts. And you can't tell the difference because false memories feel exactly like real ones. This isn't about having a bad memory. It's about how memory works for everyone. Memory is constructive and malleable. It changes every time you access it, and it's vulnerable to contamination from external sources. This is a fundamental feature of human memory, not a bug or a personal failing. The implications are serious. Eyewitness testimony can be wrong. Your memory of important events may include false details. Family stories might be largely fiction by now. Your sense of your own past contains inaccuracies you can't detect. This doesn't mean all your memories are false, but it means you can't be certain which parts are accurate and which parts were planted by misinformation. Understanding the misinformation effect makes you more humble about your memories. It makes you less likely to get into fights about who remembers correctly. It makes you more careful about situations where memory accuracy matters. And it makes you aware that your confident, clear memory of an event might be partly or completely wrong. The next time you're certain about a memory and someone else remembers it differently, consider that you might both be wrong. Misinformation from various sources might have corrupted both of your memories. Neither of you is lying. You're both genuinely remembering what your brains have constructed, which might not match what actually happened. Your memory is not a recording. It's a story your brain tells you, and that story gets edited every time you tell it or hear someone else's version. Know this: question your memories. And be very careful about trusting memory as if it's perfect evidence of the past. Subscribe to learn about more ways your memory is deceiving you every single day.